When wildfires come to Northern California, the world goes dark. For low-income families, that darkness means no medicine, no cooling, and no way to stay connected. That's the crisis that we want to solve: energy insecurity. Today, we'll show how our portfolio and the Energy Justice Pod connects finance with impact. From the start, we built our portfolio around a belief. Long-term value lies in companies driving global technological transformation. That's why over 70% of our portfolio was concentrated in the electronic technology sector. Instead of spreading our investments thin, we focused capital on a few innovation leaders with the potential to transform entire industries. Three key macroeconomic shifts supported this. Firstly, a cooling inflation and expected rate cuts boosted high growth tech. Secondly, the easing of US China trade tensions removed supply chain uncertainties. And the AI boom, $2 trillion in projected spending, created huge demand for Nvidia, Broadcom, and Microsoft. And this approach paid off, with Nvidia gaining 64%, Fiend gaming 45%, and FSLR gaining 35%. To manage volatility, we allocated less than 30% of our portfolio to defensive sectors like retail, healthcare, and utilities, because utilities are stable even in downturns because their revenues are regulated and essential, and retail, like Ulta Beauty, benefits from the lipstick effect, where small luxuries remain resilient even when consumer confidence dips. This combination of concentrated bets in transformative tech and a modest defensive ballast gave us both a potential upside and a cushion against volatility. When we first began this competition, our investment process was fairly straightforward. We relied heavily on what was publicly available: company financial reports, PE ratios, beta values, and market news. Those tools helped us identify momentum, but they didn't always give us deeper insight into intrinsic value. That changed when I attended the Wharton Essentials of Finance program. Through that experience, I learned numerous new strategies that we began to implement. We started running DCF models on our high conviction stocks like Nvidia and First Solar to validate whether their future cash flows justified their price. We integrated macroeconomic variables such as interest rate forecasts, trade policy trends, and sector outlooks directly into our analysis. Not only this, but we realized that strong governance, such as diverse boards, transparent reporting, and clear accountability, often signals companies that are better prepared for risk and more likely to deliver consistent value. And, most importantly, we began applying an ESG lens systematically, screening companies for sustainability, governance, and long-term resilience. Aligning our portfolio with ESG principles was never just about ticking a box. It was about putting capital to work on problems that millions of families face with every single day. One of the biggest of those problems is energy insecurity. It's a crisis that rarely makes headlines, but the scale is staggering. In California, energy insecurity collides directly with wildfire risk. In 2019, PG&E's public safety power shutoffs left 3 million people without power, many with little to no warning. In 2020 and 2021, failures in power infrastructure were tied directly to 10% of all wildfires and 19% of acres burned in the state. Not only this, but lower income communities are disproportionately affected because they're more likely to live in neighborhoods with aging, hazardous overhead lights and outdated wooden poles. And the impact goes far beyond inconvenience. People lose access to refrigerated medications and life-saving medical devices. Children are cut off from online schooling during power outages, and families endure dangerous heat waves without a safe way to cool their homes. It's this very reality that inspired us to develop the Energy Justice Pod, a simple solar-powered community-led way to help neighborhoods withstand the moments when the grid fails them most.
To meet this challenge head-on, we designed the Energy Justice Pod, a scalable, solar-powered public access hub built to improve community resilience during power shutoffs and extreme weather events. Each pod combines clean energy, data technology, and community leadership. It is installed in trusted, accessible places like schools, libraries, and community centers, so that in a blackout, it becomes a reliable lifeline. Here's what the pod does. It provides charging stations and a safe gathering point during outages. It hosts a real-time sensor suite that monitors air quality, CO2, particulate matter PM2.5 and PM10, VOCs, temperature and humidity, and UV index. It also displays this information locally and stores it for weekly and monthly reporting. At the core of the pod is a Jetson Nano microcomputer, a compact, affordable AI processor that runs machine learning models locally without needing a constant internet connection. These are sourced through NVIDIA's Jetson Developer Program or hardware providers like SparkFun and Seed Studio. What makes this project unique is that it is community-led. Each pod is managed by a group of 10 local high school students trained to assemble and calibrate the sensors in solar panels, monitor and interpret data, turn data into easy-to-read monthly energy report cards for their neighborhoods, and lead community outreach events, teaching residents how to respond to extreme weather and energy risks. We chose students because they're trusted within their neighborhoods, invested in their communities, and stand to gain lifelong skills in STEM, advocacy, and public service. These monthly reports they produce will be shared with residents, local city councils, and the press. These reports will help families understand local risks like air quality trends, heat island effects, and exposure risks. They will provide evidence for city leaders to make policy recommendations around energy resilience and climate adaptation. And they will also build a pipeline of informed young leaders who bridge data and community action. The first pilot will be launched in Alameda, Sonoma, and Fresno counties, areas hit hardest by wildfire-driven power shutoffs. To make this vision real, we designed a 6-month pilot program with a total budget of just $500. Here's how that $500 will be spent. $325 will be dedicated towards solar and sensor pod installation. This covers the Jetson Nano microcomputer, the air quality, UV, and humidity temperature sensors, a portable solar panel kit with batteries, weatherproof casing, and storage cards. This ensures the pod operates completely off-grid, even during prolonged outages. $125 will be spent on the Youth Ambassador Training Program. We will recruit 10 students from a local high school or nonprofit and host 2 hands-on 90-minute workshops. The first workshop will cover air quality monitoring, solar energy basics, and sensor calibration. The second workshop will cover data visualization, advocacy, and digital storytelling. And lastly, the $50 will be spent on Impact Reporting Toolkit, which includes Canva Pro licenses, printed infographics, flyers, and supplies for a short student-produced awareness video to help spread findings across the community. Here is our action plan across a 6-month rollout. In the first month, we'll secure a site, a school, or library, and recruit students. The second month, we'll procure all hardware and assemble the pod with mentorship from Grid Alternatives. The third month, we'll host the first workshop, calibrate sensors, and begin collecting baseline data. In the fourth month, we'll hold the second workshop, teach data visualization, and prepare the first energy report card. In the fifth month, we'll host a public outreach event where the students present findings to the community and local leaders. And in the last month, we'll share findings with city councils, launch a digital campaign, and plan expansion. By the end of that 6 months, we'll have 1 energy justice pod fully operational, 10 youth trained as climate and data leaders, 3 community events, and 100+ residents engaged, as well as weekly data logs and monthly reports that city leaders can use to inform preparedness planning. What makes this project so exciting is that it's designed to go far beyond just a single pilot. We start with 1 pod. That pod is proof of concept. It shows the technology works, that young people can run it, and that the community engages with it. From there, it becomes very easy to scale. With just $5,000, we can grow from 1 pod to 10. That's 10 schools or libraries, 100 trained youth, and over 1,000 residents who suddenly have access to power, data, and a safe gathering place during outages. And the growth doesn't stop there. The youth ambassadors from the first pilot become mentors for the next group. At the same time, the data they collect give us evidence to bring to city councils, local utilities, and ESG-focused companies. That data opens doors to new partnerships and funding. Our vision is that in just 3 years, this grows into a statewide network of over 100 pods deployed across wildfire-prone counties. That means more than 1,000 students trained as STEM and community leaders, and tens of thousands of residents who no longer have to face blackouts unprepared. Northern California faces some of the toughest challenges from wildfires and power shutoffs, but this project has shown us that change is possible. By combining smart investments with community-driven solutions like the Energy Justice Pod, we can turn outages into opportunities for resilience. Our vision is simple: a future where every neighborhood has power, data, and hope, even when the grid goes off.
Thank you.